all, welcome to the third race of the VRL F2 Championship. We are here live at Silverstone, and joining me on commentary is a favourite from the VRL F1 League. It's Jamil F1, otherwise known as Andrew. Andrew, good evening. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast tonight. Well, it's certainly going to be an exciting race. I mean, we've had quite a season so far. First two races in Austria and Canada have been nothing short but eventful. And I think the question on everyone's minds is anybody going to be able to make some serious ground on our championship leader? Now, Ice-T Beats. Now, from what I'm hearing, our championship leader is not going to be able to participate this evening. He's been having some technical difficulties. However, I can see him just joining in the menu now, so it seems that those early rumours have been, well, a little bit on the false side. So thankfully he's with us. So I'll put the question to you, Andrew. From what we've seen in the first two races so far from Ice-T Beats, or otherwise known as VSR_Ice-T, do you feel that there's anybody in the field that can catch him, or is he going to run away with the championship? Yeah, he's shown to be the class of the field so far. Quite memorable to watch the Austrian race. He had a very good battle towards the end of that with DRS_aquaplaning at times, who put up a very good fight, and unfortunately penalties ultimately cost him an opportunity to win that race, which shows that there are a few drivers in the field that can go toe-to-toe with Ice-T, and I think what we want to see in this championship is more of a battle at the front, see a few more drivers perhaps staking a serious claim to try and win. Is there anyone in the field that you would be looking out for this race? Okay, well that sounds like a very good race coming up for us. We're just at the moment, we are waiting for a few of our drivers to join the lobby, so we do apologise for the delay. Feel free to comment into us, as we do have the comments open, and I will make an effort to try and read and answer some of these questions, and I'm sure if you have questions for my co-commentator Andrew, please let us know. Just as also a note to our followers that are watching us on the live stream, if there are any difficulties with the audio, please do let us know. I can see someone's commenting in that they can't quite hear someone, so please do let us know. If it's me or if it's perhaps Andrew, please do let us know. Oh, great. Okay, so followers, if you could just comment in to let us know if you can now hear Andrew, as he's just made his changes. Okay, so we are about to get underway for qualifying. For those of you that are new to VRL and are unfamiliar with the format, we have a short qualifying session for 18 minutes long, and then of that qualifying session that will assemble the grid for the race. It's a 50% race at Silverstone, which will be around 26 laps, I believe. And of those in qualifying, the top 10 will be qualifying on and starting the race on the times that they set their fastest laps on. The rest of the field will also be having a free choice of tyre after that. Sure, no problem. So for those of you just joining us on the stream, thank you very much for joining us. This is the British Grand Prix Round 3 of the VRL F2 Championship, sponsored by our friends at Hot Lap Mode. Go check them out on Instagram, Hot Lap Mode, and also on Twitter, and also hosted by Vision Racing League. Check them out on Instagram under Vision Racing League, and VRL_PS4 on Twitter. So the qualifying session has just begun. We haven't had anyone join the track as of yet. So we have some activity, some of the cars coming out of the garage now. So the first one out on the track is Lion Games NL_YT in the Toro Rosso. And I see. No worries. Just bear with us, viewers, one moment. Just going to check with the audio. Yeah, it might be my fault. One sec. For some reason, right, that should always allow, right. Okay. Sorry about that, mate. I said for some reason didn't change it right. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, so apologies for the delay. So hopefully now that should have our co-commentator should be back on the audio as well. So do let us know if you can now hear Andrew. Andrew, are you with us still? Yep, I can hear you. Viewers, if you could just comment to let us know if you can hear Andrew now, as we have Lion Games NL_YT about to start his first flying lap. So at Silverstone, it's 5.8 kilometres. It's the third longest track on the F1 calendar. The only two longer than that is the Baku City Circuit in Azerbaijan at 6 kilometres, and also the circuit at Spa in Belgium. That is the longest circuit on the calendar. Record race winner for this track is Lewis Hamilton, who's won it 6 times, also with Alain Prost. Obviously Lewis will be going for 7 in 2020 later on in the season, and given the testing pace of the Mercedes so far, there's no reason to suggest why that will not happen. So yes, viewers, just another reminder, if you could just let us know if you can now hear Andrew on the commentary. If you could just comment just to let us know, that would be really very much appreciated. That's all good. So Ice-T sets the fastest lap so far, 1:27.4, so it'll be, and Tim Coronel coming across the line now, second fastest, 1:27.7. DRS Aquaplaning third with a 1:28.6, and NRG Destructor 33 in fourth. Magic Alonso abandoning that lap. So we're on board with Pep in 2:8.05. So at the moment it seems to be just me on the commentary, as we do have a co-commentator. We're trying to see if we can get him on at the moment, so bear with us please. Okay, so do bear with us, because we should have our co-commentator with us soon. At the moment, it's just me at the moment. But we're going to try and keep our eyes on the action. So just 12 minutes to go, as we're with Lion Games NO_YT, setting his first flying lap. And he goes into 4th place so far. So we have DRS aquaplaning at the moment, currently on screen. He's going around in 3rd place at the moment. He'll be looking to improve on his performance in Austria. He drove a very good race. Unfortunately, penalties let him down, and he ended up losing time as he abandons. Looks like is he abandoning that lap? Did go a bit slow towards there. Now he's going for a flying lap now. So. So whilst we have you here, viewers, we need your help. We want to try and get this video to be the first one that reaches 300 views on this channel. There's a lot of great people involved behind the scenes that you don't really hear much of, and there's a lot of great drivers here too, and there's a lot of fantastic racing, not just my voice that you all come and tuning for, I hope. So help us out, help us get to 300 views, and try and get us to 200 subscribers as well. That would be very much appreciated. We know we can do it together, but we need your help. So do help us out, like, subscribe, share that to everyone you know, and I'll run through the list later on for you, as I'm sure you will be looking forward to. So at the moment we're just with NRG Destructor 33, who goes into the pits. So at the moment we're just with NRG.
I think it's working now.
Oh, brilliant. So viewers, if you could just comment in to let us know if you can now hear our co-commentator Andrew, as we might have been able to sort out the sound issue.
Nice.
Brilliant. Well, Andrew, thank you very much for joining us at last. Apologies for the delay in getting you on. Thank you for helping to cover for Moraine. Looking forward to a good race today. How are you this evening?
I'm fine. Looking forward to watching this race.
So you're a regular customer in the VRL F1 leagues. What would your thought process be going into this race in terms of setup, in terms of would you prioritise qualifying over race pace? What would your thoughts be going into this race if you were one of the guys? Obviously you'll be racing tomorrow, so don't give away too much to your competitors who might be watching in.
Well, I think I'd prioritise the race strategy over qualifying. You know, yeah, I think the setup in Silverstone is something really tough, because there are some good long straights, and there are some medium to low speed corners as well. So it is one of the toughest tracks in my opinion to pick up a setup. So that makes the race very interesting.
And in terms of tyre choice as well, because that's an important factor, it's quite a brutal circuit on tyres, a lot of high speed corners, so there's a lot of load going in onto the tyres. It's going to be quite a combination. Some of the drivers are doing their laps on softs, some of them are doing on mediums. I can even see Pepin 2805 gone on the hards, which might be a bit extreme. What would you do? What tyre choice would you choose? As we've seen, Magic Alonso has just gone fastest on the softs with 127.0. So what would you do tyre-wise? Would you go the long game on the mediums, or would you try and go for track position and go on the softs?
It is a tough decision. In my opinion, I try to stick with the mediums, because I'm not really sure how long they can go in the race. Like if you can make just one stop for softs, or one stop for hards, two for softs, and so just to be sure of the strategy. Yeah.
Well, we saw in the last race in Austria, of course, safety cars were a factor in that race as well, not as much as Canada. Although if you're just joining us and you're new to the channel and new to the stream list viewers, please do check out those two races. Those were really exciting. You definitely don't want to miss them. This was with Ice-T Beats now on its outlap.
I watched part of the Austrian Grand Prix. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it all, but yeah, that was a very interesting race. I had a word from some at the Alfa Romeo guys on the chat from the F2 race, and it seemed very interesting. Yeah,
There's a lot of guys in this field that are sort of battling out, not just for the championship, but also because they want to impress the teams in the VRL F1 division. And we're just on board at the moment with our championship leader, Ice-T, who is one of the guys looking to impress. And so they're all battling it out because they want to get into that top division, not just winning the championship here. In terms of strategy, the British Grand Prix, more often than not, despite it being grueling on the tyres, is more of a one-stop circuit if you can make it work. If you can preserve the tyres to make them go long enough into the race, you can one stop, although two stoppers have worked in the past. That's going to be a factor today.
Well, yeah, it's probably going to be a tough game for some of these guys. It depends on the setup. It depends on how much do they wear on the tires. You know, in one way, it also depends on the driving style. But yeah, we'll see if they're going to make one, which is, in my opinion, the safest strategy to go, you know, with some of the hardest compounds, or if they're going to go with two stops. It's going to be a very interesting strategy game out here.
Absolutely. So with Ice-T at the moment, he's just coming around to the final corner now, a lap on the softer tyres, and he goes fastest, or 1:26.8, so that is a good lap time, and it's a good indication of the delta, because that's about 6/10 faster than the lap he did on the medium tyres. So that's a good indication to those in the top 10 of the sort of difference between the soft and the medium tyres, if they choose to gamble and go on to the mediums. And if Ice-T feels that the medium tyres is not sufficient, perhaps the others will follow suit and go softs. So just 6 minutes to go of this qualifying session. It seems to go like a whiz, these qualifying sessions now. We're with Tom Coronel in the Alfa Romeo, who's a swap team. Sorry, not Tom Coronel, got him confused with Tim Coronel, excuse me. But he's been held up by the Haas in front of him. So at the moment, of the top 10, only 8 of which are on softs. Only 14 runners, I'm afraid. I don't know if we're going to be having a few late joiners.
Holmes improved, went up to 4th. That's a good time, eh? 27.8.
Yes, Hendricks is a very quick driver from what I've seen so far. He'll be very happy with that time, although he's a second, just under a second off the leader's pace. It seems that the top 3 seem to have got it all together. Magic Alonso, he's improved quite a lot since the start of the season. I was also watching him in another league race not long ago, and he seemed to show pretty good pace there, so hopefully he will be able to keep improving and be a factor in the race later on. With the DRS Aquaplaning now in the McLaren.
Very good lap from Burke, and 5th with the mediums. That can be a really important factor in the race. If he can keep those mediums until the start of the race, I think, yeah, it can be a really big factor.
Yeah, Burke's always shown good pace in qualifying. In the race, he's not been able to stay out of trouble, and it's really hindered his performances in those races. But that's a very impressive time, like you said, on the medium tyres. 1:27.8. Realistically speaking, that's probably good enough for third, perhaps if he was on the soft tyres, judging by the delta, but he'll be very happy with that lap, considering there are only 4 other cars in front of him. DRS Aquaplaning 6th fastest on the soft tyres. So it just shows if you can really get it right and really, you know, keep the speed, not scrub too much off, you can get a good time around this track. It's not an easy track to find time. It's a very easy one to lose it. So we've just got 4 minutes left of this session so far. VSR Ice-T in the racing point. I was almost about to say Force India again. As we're with Tom Coronel now in the Alfa Romeo. So it's time, and he goes 4 fastest. That's a good time from Tom Coronel. Just missing out on his almost namesake Tim. Just 15 thousandths of a second slower. That's a good lap from him though. I think he'd be reasonably happy with that. Not too far off the leader's pace. Let's see if anyone else is still on a lap at the moment, as some of the front runners are now into the pits to put on the last set of tyres to go for one last charge. As we're in Big Roo, who's now just about to start his flying lap. He's in 10th in the Haas at the moment, as we're going to stay with him. Just going to go on board. So Andrew, just as from an expert opinion, this last phase of qualifying, what goes through the mind of some of the drivers, or a driver like yourself, when you've got one more shot, you put on a fresh set of boots, this is the moment where you really need to make it count? Do you feel under pressure, or do you feel that the adrenaline perhaps helps you find even more time?
Well, personally, my driving style, you know, I kind of feel like I am under pressure, and I sometimes bottle the lap. But yeah, when I always try to get my mind on other things and forget the pressure of the final runs. It's tough, but yeah, I always try to do that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always found that I enjoy the final part of qualifying, but you're absolutely right. You make one mistake and that's the lap over. And sometimes enough pressure can be applied, and it can be the difference between getting on pole and getting absolutely nowhere near it. And track position will be important in this race. Plenty of overtaking opportunities, so the DRS section should prove to be very, very effective. So with Big Roo now just coming across the line, stays 10th. He improves slightly, but not quite enough. So we've got some of the drivers now coming out. So bear in mind, viewers, there is a bit of delay with the timing. I've noticed in the last couple of races.
Tim Cornell is I think he left too late.
When I was just about to make the point, Andrew, that
he's
lost it. He's lost it. Well, that's his qualifying over.
Yeah, he's not gonna make. Yeah, he's not gonna make it.
And that's a shame for Tim, and he's also retired from the session as well. Yeah, I was just going to make the point to you, Andrew, that there has been issues in the last two races, that the timings on the qualifying screen that we can all see on the broadcast are slightly ahead of what the actual time is. So some of the drivers right now, it may look like they're not going to get across the line in time, but you'll find that they probably are in terms of where they see themselves on the timer. So we're going to bear with that in mind. We're going to be just, we've had that in the last two races. Me and Moraine have been a bit too keen to call the session over, and then there's still guys lapping around improving their times. So we're just coming up now to the last laps of this session. This is the final opportunity for some of these guys. This is the last minute, this is the last roll of the dice for these guys. Who is going to be starting on the front rows? Well, with Magic Alonso, who's gone across the line and he has not improved. So Ice-T is fastest, and we're going to be on board with him for this lap. And he will know that he's fastest, but he's going to want to consolidate that as he now comes into the arena section. It's a nice exit on the way out. It's coming across now. It's coming all the way down into Brooklyn. This is one of my favourite sections of the track. Hard onto the brakes now, down into fourth gear, down to third, and he's coming through the gears again. Not to be too greedy on the corner.
By 2/10.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying at the moment as he's building up the speed now, coming through Woodcote and now coming up towards Cops Corner. This used to be the former start finish before the early 2010s. Fully committed in 7th gear, they're hardly lifting off the throttle. He's keeping his foot putting down, and now the best section going. Maggots.
Gondos is improving, gonna go 5th. Nice.
And then a right-hander, Speckers, and then onto Chapel. And now we're coming down the hanger straight. The DRS has opened up now. He's climbing up the speed into 7th and then 8th gear. This is looking to be a very quick lap from Ice-T, and this is probably going to diminish rail. The Haas gets out of the way, thankfully. Hasn't hampered him too much. Over through Stowe, now coming into Vale and then into Club Corner. Hard down on the brakes into 3rd gear. He leaves it in there ticking over. The car looks really well balanced, doesn't get too greedy on the exit, and comes across the line, and that's a 1:26.4 from Ice-T Beats. That is one hell of a lap. Wow.
That's a brilliant time.
And if you think about it, judging by the 6/10 delta, he might have been able to secure pole on the mediums, but he's gone with the softs, and he'll be very impressed with that time. The rest of the field, the gauntlet has been laid down to you all. Ice-T Beats showing his pace. Well, I don't know if there's anyone left on a lap that I can see. Everyone else has finished except for Ryan Arder, who's gone into the pits now. So
yeah.
That looks like the end of qualifying, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for joining us. We will have a race shortly after this, but after that lap from Ice-T, gotta say, Andrew, it's looking very ominous, and our championship leader has laid down the gauntlet to the rest of the competition. Basically, catch me if you can.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's one hell of a time. That might match some of the F1 times tomorrow. I mean, we'll see tomorrow, but that is a very, very decent time.
Well, I was talking to him in the week, and he's been showing pace all throughout the season. He's been very quick in qualifying, he's been very quick in the races, and he definitely wants a seat in F1, and he's doing everything he possibly can to show that at the moment he is the class of the field, and deserves, or feels he deserves, an opportunity to be there. So we will see what's going on. I'm sure the bosses at Racing Point, and maybe other bosses in other teams, are looking at him too. But that's to wrap up qualifying. Just to run off the order, Ice-T Beats, or formerly Ice-T Beats, on pole position, Magic Alonso second, and Karen Everin West, apologies if I mispronounced that, is third in the Haas. A good time from him, 1:27.061. So it's a good grid. 14 guys at the moment. Hopefully we'll have more join us, late stragglers. I see some of the comments coming in now, and saying, just for reference, from Livid Sam, thank you for commenting in, saying that an F1 pole will probably be a 1:25.9. Andrew, your thoughts on that? Does that sound about right for a pole time for the F1 race, or would you say Ice-T Beats is a bit more represented for a fast time in that league? Still with me, Andrew? Okay, well hopefully we haven't lost Andrew. He'll join us in a moment. Sorry, I was just asking a question. One of our viewers in the comments, Livid Sam, mentioned that 1:25.9 is around about a predicted time for a pole position in the VRL F1 league. Would you say that's about right, or would you say Ice-T Beats his time's a bit more accurate?
That's probably accurate from Sam. I think yeah, 20. Probably the F1 guy is gonna go into the 25s, maybe lower. So yeah, the time trial times show a little bit of that. I know the races are, the qualifying is a little bit slower than in time trial, but yeah, I think it's gonna go somewhere like that.
Well, we're just on the formation lap now. So from what I can see on the field, as mentioned earlier, it's only Burkay in 9th place in the Ferrari that did a time on the mediums in the top 10. So he will be one of the drivers to look out for. I don't think he'll be too discouraged by the fact that he's 9th. He'll definitely be the one to watch out for later on, but the popular strategy seems to be the soft tyre, and then perhaps one stopping and going on to the mediums or the hards later on. Of course, there's no strangers to a safety car at the British Grand Prix, especially at Silverstone, so I'm pretty sure that a safety car could affect the running order. However, having said that, Ice-T has dealt with that before. He had a lot of that in Canada, controlled the race from there, and also did that in Austria. So as the cars are just about to line up,
What happened to Robert Dunbar's? It's in the wall. There he's back.
we can just see him on here. He's just ghosting at the moment, but he's currently sick. I can't see any problems or anything in particular.
He was in the wall a few moments ago. So I don't know what happened, but that's not going to be a big problem.
I can't see any damage on his car at the moment, so I'm sure the cars are just about to line up. He's kept the leaders waiting for some time. But if you're just joining us, we're about to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go 4 lights and we go 5 lights. Wait for it. Wait for it. We are ready, and we are racing, and it's a good start off the line from Ice-T. Magic Alonso does not get away well, has grabbed the tyres so much with the wheel spin, and Karen Everin West has taken second place as the field come through into turn 1. Some action already, and DRS aquaplaning and Tim Coronel have collided coming into turn one. They've had a massive crash, and Tim Coronel is out of the race. Ryan Arder has a 5-second penalty with a severe collision with Robert Dornbos. DRS aquaplaning has managed to carry on, but what a terrible start for Tim Coronel. He is already out of the race, and it's a virtual safety car has just come out now for that incident. Wow, I don't know if you saw that, Andrew. I just caught it at the very late parts. A lot part of that crash, but Tim Coronel and DRS aquaplaning having a terrible crash into turn one. That does tend to happen more often than not, and unfortunately Tim Coronel is already out of the race. He will be devastated.
That's really unfortunate for Tim. He did a very good qualifying lap, very decent. Would have been fighting up front today if it wasn't for that.
So we're just looking through the order now, and now the race is back underway. Burkai's got up 4 places into 5th place, so well done for him. But it's a good getaway from Karen West.
Spun.
Oh, it's Ryan Spun. Well, Karen West is coming around the outside of Ice-T Beats. Ice-T sticks to the inside to defend it. He's gone for it. Ice-T holds the inside line. He's just about, but Evan West has still got the inside line coming into club corner, and he's gone for a dive bomb around the inside. Ice-T holds it round the outside like Leclerc and Verstappen, and Ice-T has held the lead, and after lap 1 he still leads the race. Karen Evan West is still in 2nd place, right behind him in the Haas. He is sticking on his tail. Magic Alonso is in 3rd place, just behind him. Tom Coronel a 2.5 back with Burkai behind him. It's all going on in this first lap. We're just still with the leaders at the moment. Kevin Evan West is still sticking with the lead, and he's putting massive pressure, and he's trying to get round the inside of him again. This is a great start to this British Grand Prix. If you are just joining us, where have you been?
Destructors off the... Oh, Ryan's out.
Ryan Arder's out. And it's a safety car. So Ryan Arder, so apologies viewers for not seeing Ryan Arder, but he's retired from the race. And obviously Handage Hicks as well. He's lost this bit of his front end plate on his left-hand side. Well,
that safety car is really gonna help Robert and aquaplaning to get back on the field. You know, they still need to do one more stop. Each of them, they're on the medium tires now. It's not gonna make it to the end of the race. They're in the same situation as Berkay right now, so it's probably gonna be a medium. I don't know if they're going to be able to do medium to hard, medium to soft. It's going to be tight.
Well, the norm would be a medium to soft, but although DRS aquaplaning is put on the hard tyres, I mean, is it possible he might try to go to the end of the race on those tyres? Do you think that's possible on the hards?
That's going to be tight. It's going to be really close, but that is a really big gamble by him. I mean, he's down a last. You just got to think about something that, you know, you got nothing to do when you're down at that position on the field. So it's just a big gamble, and hopefully it'll pay off for him.
Well, it's very early to say. It'll be interesting to see how he gets on, providing he can catch up to the back of the field. Same thing for Robert Dornbos, although I'd probably have gone for his strategy, as NRG Destructor 33 has got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Now, I know this is a sport where we encourage the drivers and reward them for going as fast as possible, but don't do it in the pits, guys. That's just gonna... that's not where you want to be going fast.
Definitely not. Oh, Henge just coming as well. I think they both had damage or something.
Yeah,
I saw Destructors off the track at turn 2. Just before the safety car came out for Ryan.
You're right, yeah. Hendich Hanks also lost a bit of his front left end plate, so he's gone to change that, as we're just with his teammate Tom Coronel in the Alpha in the 69 car. There's always one in every lobby with that number. So we mentioned the safety car was going to be a factor. I didn't expect it to be this early, but we've had a virtual safety car and a safety car for those of you who have only just joined us on the stream. Within the first 3 laps. So just to take a breather and recap, the VSR Ice-T, formerly Ice-T Beats, started well, had some pressure from Karen Evan West in the Haas, who started brilliantly in that car, and it's really put pressure on him, and if anything the safety car gave Ice-T a bit of a breather. Magic Alonso didn't get away well off the line, and he's in 3rd place. Tom Coronel 4th in the Alpha. Burkay started 9th, a brilliant start from him on the mediums, running in 5th place in the Ferrari. Big Roo in the Haas in 6th, Pepins in the Renault in 7th, Lion Games NO_YT and Toro Rosso in 8th. Handage Hanks 9th in the other Alpha. Robert Dornbos is 10th as see a bit of Pepin and Lion Games trying to swap positions there, but you can't overtake under the safety car. NRG Destructor 33 and DRS Aquaplaning, who had a massive shunt with Tim Coronel, survived. Tim Coronel not so lucky in the Red Bull to survive, who is out of the race. I mean, at this point, Andrew, I've got to say, the way things are going, it seems that if you want to score points in this race, all you've got to do really is finish, because we've only got 12 runners left. We're only 4 laps in. So just as a shout out as well to one of our usual drivers, Stein, and I've got a question for you, my friend. Where are you today? It's nice seeing you in the comments section, but I want to see you out on the track where you belong, my friend. Hopefully we'll see you for the next race. So Andrew, just as a bit of a recap from the start so far, now that we've managed to catch our breaths with the safety car coming out, who probably can come in at this lap, what would be going through your mind at this point in the race? Would you have pitted to put new tyres on, or would you have tried to sort of stay out because it's too early? What would you be thinking at this point?
It really depends on where you are on the track. You know, if you are at the back, I would take the gamble, like aquaplaning to possibly go on the hards and try to go to the end of the race. See, Destructors is also on the hards, maybe doing the same gamble. But if I was ahead, I'd stay out. I would, you know, if the drivers ahead stayed out, I'd follow them. If they pitted, I think I'd follow them as well. So it really depends on the position that you are on the track.
I'm also just following Kerem Vest, who's in second place at the moment. He is getting really agitated there behind Ice-T. He's warming up the tyres. He's really close to his gearbox. He really wants to get past him at the earliest opportunity. Of course, remember, as he almost goes off and then collects Magic Alonso with him, he's getting a bit impatient. But remember, for those of you who are unfamiliar with racing, as now the safety car looks like it's going to be coming in this lap, and we're seeing some damage.
Damage to one of the cars.
Yeah, that's Lion Games has collided into the back of Pepin as we're about to get underway, are we? Is the safety car still out? As the safety car's gone into the pits now, so we're just about to get underway. Kerem West is right behind Ice-T, as you can see. You're on board with him now. He's drove into the back of Ice-T. Doesn't seem to have had any damage.
Yes, on the right side pod, the right side of the wing is damaged.
Oh, that's such a shame. But we're back under racing. Ice-T gets a good getaway. Kerem West is trying to follow him, but he's a bit too keen and he's been caught napping a little bit. So the rest of the field coming through. Oh, and we've had a spinner, and it's NRG Destructor 33. He's gone straight into the wall, and that's. Oh wow! And is he out of the race? No, he's kept it going. Oh, and he is out of the race. Right. So we've lost both Red Bulls are out within 5 laps.
Oh, Burkhardt is up into 4 on the mediums.
Yeah, he's made the move on Tom Coronel. He's overtaken him. So we've got Karen Everbest, who's feeling now the downside to losing that front wing airplane on the right hand side. He's got Magic Alonso who's all over the back of him in 3rd place. He sniffs blood in the water, and he is looking to try and overtake him now as he's coming through. He's going to lose so much front downforce in that Haas after losing that front wing end plate, and that's something you do not want to do at Silverstone. Is lose downforce. The cars.
Oh, what happened? The two Toro Rossos and Bigger have apparently crashed.
Going through, as you can see Lion yeah, and Hendrich Hex is out of the race. Oh, DRS Aquaplaning, they're both out as well. We've missed that, and it's another virtual safety car. An incident between Hendrich Hex and DRS Aquaplaning. I have to apologise because I was not able to get there in time when that happened. It's just, wow.
We're on the middle of the track.
And Karen's out. He's out as well. What is going on? He's had a massive crash. Yeah, I can see his Haas.
Karen's going into the pit, I think.
His Haas is just sitting right out of the pit lane in pieces. As now everyone's coming into the pits, and Kerem Vest has literally lost it somewhere just before the pit lane entrance. I mean, this is absolutely mad. We're down to 8 runners, Andrew. We're literally down to 8 runners. This is crazy.
So the drivers right now are mostly going to focus like to finish in the race, and if he gets good points for the championship, that might be important for them.
Well, we've just seen the two Toro Rossos who are together in the pit lane who have double stacked. Robert Dornbos has put on the hard tyres, so is Big Rui in the other Haas. Now his teammate is no longer in the race, and that is a shame. And Lion Games NL_YT has now put on the hard tyres as well. So the Toro Rosso guys causing the safety car incident, but they've got a massive reprieve now putting on those hard tyres. There's now 6 laps into this British Grand Prix, and we are back underway again. With Ice-T leading the charge, Magic Alonso just behind him, half a second back in the Renault. Burkhardt on the medium tyres up into 3rd place. That's the reward for keeping your nose clean in this race. You are going to make up places.
Yeah, Burkhardt is in a very good position. If he can get close to Magic Alonso and Ice-T, he can get some... If he can get close to them and stop once for the softs, he can challenge for a win here.
Yeah, absolutely. He's definitely in contention at the moment. And as you say that, receives a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So Burkhardt a little bit too keen, cutting those corners and exceeding track limits. Obviously, very, very little tolerance to get away with that, I'm afraid. So that's not going to help his cause, but it's not a race ender by any stretch, as we're still on board with the leader now. It's the yellow flags incident, and it's just all going on in this race. I mean, I have to apologise to the viewers in some parts. Almost half the field has retired before, well, we've really got into this race. I mean, the funny part, Andrew, is that for the first time in this race, DRS has now been enabled because we've had 2 laps of clean running without a... Oh, as Ice-T's gone off the track, he's completely lost it. Ice-T beats the championship leader, has lost it, and the ghosting has saved him from being run into by Tom Coronel.
That was really close between him and Tom.
He just completely lost it, coming out of a cop's corner. Wow, so our championship leader, his first mistake that I've seen him make all season long, and now Magic Alonso is leading the race in the Renault. And Burkhardt is in 2nd place in the Ferrari, Tom Coronel 3rd in the Alfa Romeo, Pepin in the sister Renault in 4th, Ice-T now down into 5th place, and he will have some ground to make up as Magic Alonso sets the fastest lap of the race. Don't expect him to feel that he was going to be in this position, but here we are, and he's leading the race. Now we're going to see some racing. This is exciting stuff now.
Yeah.
And I think what's important for the F1 race engineers and some of the drivers watching in on the stream at the moment is consistency. As fast as some of these drivers are, the one thing that separates them from some of the guys in the F1 division is the consistency and avoiding incidents. It's all fine having the pace, but if you can't stay on the track and you can't avoid having spins, you're not going to win many races.
Yeah, I think, yeah, some of them need to, be more consistent, try to avoid crashes a little bit more. See some of them, doing mistakes by themselves. See Ryan, Karen, Destructors, and some others. So, yeah, I think consistency has got to be key.
Well, sorry to interrupt you, Andrew. It's got Ice-T just coming up the inside, opening up the DRS inside of Pepin and moves into 4th place down the hanger straight. That's a good move from Ice-T on the recovery drive up into 4th place.
That's really important. I mean, he's really flying after that spin. I think he's took 1 second away from the leader, or nearly that in this lap.
He's just set
the fastest lap.
Mm.
He's got 7 tenths only in this lap.
Well, this is it now. I mean, we know he's got the pace, and in fairness to him, I've seen him race in the last couple of races, and he hasn't put a foot wrong in either of them. That's his first real big mistake. Of course, we're all human. We will make mistakes. None of us are completely flawless, but it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on now. He's a couple of seconds behind Tom Coronel, he's fastest man on the track now. But at this point of the race, obviously the safety car and the virtual safety car have helped. he's not going to want to burn those tyres out too much, because now he's chasing, he's going to have to sort of bide his time now rather than burn his tyres out and chase everyone.
Yeah. I'm just checking the warnings right here to see how is Magic Alonso in warnings. Yeah, if Magic Alonso gets one more warning, he's gonna get a 3-second time penalty.
Okay.
So he just got to keep himself on track.
So as always, thank you for keeping us up to date with the race director. I think that's a good thing as well, because obviously I can't quite see that on the broadcast at the moment. So yeah, if you keep us up to date, that'd be brilliant. I'm just also hearing in the comment section, Line Games NL_YT. Not quite sure how you're managing to comment whilst driving. I'd probably recommend that you drive rather than that, but thanks anyway. Yeah, don't text and drive, kids, if you're watching in. He's saying that his team radio is just telling him that there's going to be rain in 15 minutes, so not sure how that's looking at the moment. And the clouds are sort of coming over a little bit.
This could fall into the hands of Berkay if it rains, because he's on the mediums. He can stay out for these 15 minutes probably. So depending on what happens here, it's all going to fall straight into his hands.
It absolutely will, yeah. I mean, the soft runners are going to have to consider pitting soon, whereas Berkay can stay out on those mediums, as you said. And if it does decide to rain, then yeah, it's going to play right into his hands. This could be the day where Ferrari finally get on the top step of the podium in VRL for F2. I mean, we haven't had a winner other than the Racing Point team, but at the moment it's completely open, and those drivers on the harder tyres, the likes of Robert Dornbos, Big Roo 1325, Line Games NO_YT, they're going to come back into play as well, because they're on hard tyres, so they're only going to have to stop at least one more time in this race, at the most.
Yeah.
So we're with Ice-T now, who's chasing down Tom Coronel in the Alfa Romeo. The gap's kind of spread out a bit now, not that there's many runners left, but Magic Alonso is pulling away from Berkay, so those softer tyres still prove to be faster.
Ice-T's in the pits.
Yes, he's Pepin, and Ice-T's in the pits, so he's coming in early, so his race engineer, not sure if he's been told that there's raining on the way.
He's probably destroyed his tyres when he made that spin in Corps. So that might have made
Magic
him.
Alonso's made a mistake. Yeah, he's disconnected, and now Berkay takes the lead in the Ferrari. What is going on in this race? Berkay moves into the lead in the Ferrari. Magic Alonso is disconnected, and he's just ghosting around. So not sure if he's going to be able to get back into the race. That could be his race done. Now he's just ghosting around the track. Oh, well, what a shame.
That's really bad for him. He was doing a very good race. Up in the lead, he was very solid. He was going to fight for a win. He was one of the biggest contenders for a race victory here.
Well, he was getting away from Berkay in the Ferrari and the rest of the field. And now, yeah, that's potentially costing the race win now. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to reconnect into the race anymore. So effectively, ladies and gentlemen, we are now down to 7 runners and a bot controlling Magic Alonso in 3rd place. But of course, I'm not sure familiar with the ruling in terms of the computer controlling your car to the finish. But at the moment, he's running in 3rd place, so he's still on the podium. And he's now and now the bot is coming into the pits to change the tyres, as too is Tom Coronel in the Ferrari. So now the soft tyre runners are now pitting. So this is Berkay's opportunity now to stretch these tyres out. If it does indeed rain, well, not sure how long that's going to be, but if he can make these tyres last, he may only need to stop for wet weather tyres and close in for the finish. However, on the flip side of that, Andrew, it's worth noting that if he stays out too long and the tyres get too worn and the rest are able to catch and undercut him and it doesn't rain until later, he may find himself in big trouble later on in this race.
He's got to be careful. That's a very, very tricky situation.
And as I say, that Ice-T Beats has now undercut Tom Coronel and Magic Alonso, and he's up into 3rd place in the Racing Point. And Tom Coronel coming out, you can see the undercut has worked an absolute treat for Ice-T. He's only been on those tyres for a lap, but that's a massive undercut. He's gained a couple of seconds on him from that, and he's going to be handing down the front too. Pepin has stayed out on the soft tyres, but he will probably fall back into 5th place once this is all said and done.
Yeah.
So we're not even half distance, ladies and gentlemen. So just to recap, for those of you that have just joined us on the stream, we are now down to 7 runners, really, and Magic Alonso is being controlled by the computer. From what I can see, he's still ghosting, yep. So Burkai leads in the Ferrari. Pepin is second in the Renault, although he has to stop. Ice-T...
Yeah, he's stopping now.
And he's now stopping now. And he's got a
Ooh, he's got a
speeding
penalty.
5-second penalty speeding. And this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, Andrew, with the Vrl F1 teams watching in, looking to see which of these drivers can really make a claim into the top division. They see stuff like this, it's not gonna impress them at all. These silly mistakes and these penalties, and there's a lot of quick guys in this field, but if they keep doing this, they're not going to be able to get into the top tier championship or even win this championship. As Ice-T sets the fastest lap of the race, and he will come up into second place now, and he is on a charge now, he's a man on a mission. He's looking to recover the lead that he lost by making a mistake earlier in the race, coming through Stowe, I believe it was. Sorry, Copse Corner. Completely lost the back end, had an absolute tank slapper and managed to keep it out of the barriers, and he is now trying to recover the race lead. It's been a crazy race for different reasons, and with the weather and the clouds are starting to come over, and it's starting to look a lot gloomier now than it was at the start, Andrew. I don't know if you've noticed, but we could be seeing rain on the way.
That's very likely. I could see the clouds are growing, darkening up. Yeah, it might rain in a few minutes.
Oh, and Magic Alonso has joined. So get him back in that car, Mr. Alonso. We need to see you back up and running because you've fallen right down the order, my friend. We need to get you back in the race. Not sure if he's able to rejoin.
He needs to go. Yeah, he's able. So, oh, Ice-T's there.
Oh, where's he gone?
Left us.
Yeah, he's disconnected as well. What is going on? Codemasters, what's going on with the connections to some of these guys? They're all just dropping out. So right now,
once again, I'm going to say this race has fallen into the hand of Burkai. Completely lucky by him.
I mean, we've mentioned Ferrari international assistance as the old joke goes, but I don't even think this is capable of their own doing at the moment. This is absolutely crazy. And now Tom Coronel will just have noticed that Ice-T is now ghosting as he's being controlled by bot, and he'll go back up into second place. As you can see right now on the screen, he's just going to drive right through him because we have ghosted cars on this to avoid any unnecessary collisions.
Well, Magic Alonso is still not taking control yet. He needs to take control of that car.
I know in the other F1 games you were able to do that if you disconnected, but I don't know if you're able to do that in the newer ones. He would certainly try.
Yeah, you are. It's just I don't know if he knows how to do that. Hopefully he knows. He's losing a lot of time on the meantime to Robert Dornbos. He's 8 seconds behind him now.
We're also seeing Pepin just coming through Stowe now, and he'll notice that Ice-T is ghosted, and he will be trying to catch up to him to see there's a podium on offer for you, Pepin, if you can keep it going. But don't forget, Robert Dornbos in the Toro Rosso now on 8-lap hard tyres is now catching up to Pepin and Ice-T as well. So all of a sudden, a fight for a podium is a realistic possibility for the majority of the runners in this race.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, so it looks like Magic Alonso is now solid again, so he's back in running. Thank goodness for that. So he's back in the race.
Nice.
Hopefully he'll know that his tyres have been on for 2 laps, so he doesn't pit again by accident.
So he's what, 9 seconds behind?
So he's 9 seconds behind Robert Dornbos. So Pepin is right behind Ice-T. And Pepin is just overtaken Ice-T to go into 3rd place. Ice-T, I don't know if he's trying to reconnect, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Robert Dornbos will see that too. There's a possible podium on for him. So Magic Alonso, you're absolutely right, Andrew. He's 9 seconds back at the moment from Robert Dornbos in 5th place, but he's on the medium tyres. May decide to go to the end on those ones. So that will be an interesting fight later on as Robert Dornbos moves up into 4th place, overtaking VSR Ice-T, who's falling further down the field now that he's ghosted. And this is a sad thing to see for our championship leader. And Burkai's got another penalty and he's for speeding in a pit lane. I don't understand that.
Ooh, that's like the third or fourth driver getting this type of penalty. I mean, if you do it by yourself like this, if you're completely alone on the racetrack, that's a very silly mistake. I mean, if you've got someone ahead of you, you can't see where are you going to brake to enter the pit lane, then okay. But yeah, this kind of mistake is, for the F1 teams, is unacceptable. Hopefully
Well,
he'll be able to join and...
he's put on the soft tyres now, Burkeye, so he's going to the end of the race on those as Tom Coronel crosses the line, and he's only just behind him, so Burkeye's going to have to get those tyres heated up and up to speed. But he's...
Exactly. He needs to do that quickly because Tom is... Tom's on the DRS.
And he's got DRS as well. I heard the beep, so he's got DRS. So it's going to close right up to him. Burkeye on those soft tyres, so he's on the faster tyres, but it might be worth checking, Andrew, if possible. Can you see if Tom Coronel has any penalties? Because at the moment, if my maths is right, Burkeye should have around 8 seconds worth of penalties. Or is he...
Yeah. Tom has 2 warnings, so if he gets one more, he gets a penalty. You know, Burkeye, yeah, he has 8 seconds.
So also with Robert Dornbos now, who's caught right up to the back of Pepin, and he sees that a podium is on the cards for him now. Ice-T is still ghosting, who's just been overtaken by Magic Alonso. So Magic Alonso back ahead of Ice-T in 5th place. Robert Dornbos now on board with him. DRS open, coming down the hangar straight, chasing down Pepin on 10-lap hard tyres. And he's just so much faster. You can see how much he's catching Pepin. And Pepin's on, and he's gone really wide going into Stowe there, off the track. Robert Dornbos, will he go for a lunge? He's too far away this time, but if he tucks in and stays tight to him, he might be able to get a move on him. And it's good to see. It's a good recovery from Robert Dornbos. Not quite sure what happened between him and his teammates. We'll have to wait for the steward's inquiry on that one to see what happened. But he's managed to recover, and he's pretty much on the verge of getting a podium miss. He's gone for a lunge a bit. And Pepin's made the error. He's just gone wide to avoid him. Robert Dornbos is on the outside, coming into the arena section now. He holds it round the outside. He's got good traction. He's got better than Pepin. He's holding it, and they've touched. Opens the DRS, and that's a great move. He's up into 3rd place. Robert Dornbos moves into 3rd in the Toro Rosso. That's a great move. Pepin was not able to get back at him as Robert had the DRS as well. The two did touch. As Robert Dornbos on his steering wheel, letting him know he wasn't happy with the contact there. But that's a great overtaking move there from Robert Dornbos. Up into 3rd place. Great recovery drive as well. It's great to see.
The guy's managing to pull a gap to Tom. He's got 5 seconds already.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Burkeye's on the soft tyres, so he's on the faster tyres. So obviously his race engineer is telling him that if the rain is coming, it's not going to come soon enough to be a factor at the moment. And it's probably the sensible decision, if I'm honest, because if he'd have stayed out any longer, Tom Coronel would be leading this race and be on the tyres. When as Burkeye sets the fastest lap, and he knows he's going to have to build a gap now. He needs at least 8 seconds to win this race, providing Tom Coronel does not get any penalties himself.
I'm checking right here if Tom has got any kind of penalties. No. So yeah, Burkeye needs to pull away.
So it's a race against time for Burkeye more than position. He's got the tyres to do it, he's got the speed, but he has to keep it clean. So just looking in the comments as we've got, well, it's 8 laps to go now. Just a shout out to see Merciful Bike saying, yo, hello to you too, sir. Hope you're enjoying it. Even hope you're enjoying the race. Do feel free to share it with your friends. It's not been the most entertaining in terms of on-track action, but it's definitely been interesting in terms of events such as safety cars, crashes, drivers disconnecting and reconnecting. And speaking of which, Ice-T Beats is still not connected into this race. Magic Alonso disconnected in this race earlier whilst he was leading the race. He's now in 5th place trying to recover. His teammate in 4th, a bit further down the road. That could be a battle. And if you remember rightly, Andrew, in the Austrian Grand Prix, cast your minds back a couple of weeks, those two had an absolutely huge shunt towards the end of that race, which took
Yeah,
them both out. Well, Magic Alonso was
yeah.
taken out completely. So Cyril Abitbol and the other Renault bosses will be sitting on the pit wall sweating, hoping those two will not come into contact again, fighting for
Oh,
fourth
and
place.
happen has a 5-second penalty for speeding, so Magic Alonso is currently in position to move up into 4th. So he's eventually going to try to catch up to Robert and maybe challenge for a podium after disconnecting.
Well, is Robert Dornbos, does he have any penalties at the moment, other than... I
I'll
remember
check.
he's on 13-lap hard tyres, so his tyres could be quite worn towards the end of this race. So it is possible, but it's about... there's a gap of about 12 seconds, I believe, between the two of them at the moment.
Yeah, Robert has got 2 warnings. Same for Magic Alonso, I think.
So at the moment it's
No,
about...
Magic Alonso's got 1. No, two, sorry.
Well, the gap between the two of them is about 12.5 seconds, although Robert Dornbos is on 13-lap hard tyres, where Magic Alonso is on 7-lap mediums. So the tyres on Robert Dornbos's Toro Rosso are going to probably wear as this race goes on. They probably won't fall off the cliff, but Magic Alonso will definitely be making up ground, but he's got to pass his teammate. He won't know that his teammate has a penalty, and at the moment is effectively behind him on the overall order, but he won't know that, so he's going to have to overtake him on the road. Ice-T still ghosting, so our championship leader is going to lose big points in this race. There's Big Roo in 8th in the Haas, he's a long way away, and he's ghosting as well. Line Games NO_YT in 7th in the Toro Rosso. So if you've only just joined us, or if you're new to VRL F2, it's been an eventful race. Not long left to go. Burkhardt is leading in the Ferrari, however he has 8 seconds worth of penalties that we know, and his gap to Tom Coronel in the Alfa Romeo is just under 7 seconds. So as it stands, he will need to pull out another second or so in order to retain that victory, assuming he doesn't get any further penalties. We have Robert Dornbos in 3rd place in the Toro Rosso. Great recovery drive from him after an early incident with his teammate in the race. We have Pepin in 4th in the Renault, who at the moment has penalties, so he is currently behind his teammate Magic Alonso, who was once leading this race and looking favourite to win it until he disconnected earlier in the race. Managed to reconnect, back in the run-in, and now he's going to try and see if he can get on the podium, although he's running out of time. He's currently 10 seconds behind Robert Dornbos, and he's now following his teammate into Maggots and Beckett.
It's beginning to sprinkle. It's beginning to sprinkle. I can see by the onboards. It's beginning to rain a little bit.
Sorry to interrupt, Andrew, again. Burkhardt has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, so now the gap's even larger. But we're on board with Magic Alonso, who's right behind his teammate. Both of them have DRS. They almost touch, but this time Magic Alonso and Pepin avoid contact to take themselves out of this race, unlike Austria, and Alonso is up into 4th place. A very good move from Stowe. Well, they got very close again and sort of feared the worst between them, but the Renaults have avoided contact and they're able to go on, and thank goodness, good driving from both those. But yeah, sorry, I know you were saying about the rain, that could be a factor towards the end as it's coming down, but Burkhardt has got another 3-second time penalty, so for all you mathematicians out there, that's 11 seconds worth of time penalties. So right now, Tom Coronel in the Alfa Romeo, not that he knows it at this point, but he's currently leading the race by about just 3.5 seconds now.
Well, depends if the DRS gets deactivated because of the rain, then it's worthy of pitting for intermediates. But it depends as well on the amount of laps remaining that there will be when this happens. So they're like 4-5 laps. I might even consider pitting for the intermediates. Those guys behind, like Pepin, maybe Magic Alonso, might just consider doing another stop run for the intermediates and eventually try to gain a place. But it's going to be very close to call.
Well, it is raining. He's just on board with Burkhardt in the lead at the moment, who's got to make up time. He's running out of time. He needs to find another 2.5 seconds or he will not win this race, and the rain is coming down. it's not coming down heavy enough yet to make an impact, but it is coming down enough to almost make you conscious that they may need to pit. It might be worth the gamble, as you said, Andrew, to pit onto some intermediate tyres. I mean, on a track like Silverstone with the high-speed corners on those wet tyres, it could be worth 15-20 seconds on the final lap if you're on the right tyre.
Well, it's something that we're going to see right now. It's going to be very interesting regarding the rain. Those guys with a lot of tyre wear at the moment, they are going to struggle to keep it on the track. Like Robert, they're very old hards. Let's see, when did he pit? So he's been with those hard tyres since lap 6, so they're very worn out, and maybe he's gonna want to keep it on the track as much as possible, so that it does not slide out with this rain. It's very little, but it might just affect if you try to push.
No, absolutely right. And that's the last thing you want to do, because in Berkay's case, he does need to push to increase that gap as much as he can. He knows how much penalties he's got, and he is absolutely pushing. Fastest man on the track, set the fastest lap of the race, the only driver in the 129s in this race. As we can see, Lion Games NL_YT is now on the intermediate tyres, so he has pitted to go onto the intermediate tyres.
I don't know if it's wet enough to go onto the inters, but that's a very big gamble.
Well,
you know, he's got nothing to lose.
Oh, he's got no grip. You can just see, yeah. I mean, he'll be ghosting in front of cars that are trying to overtake him to lap him, but he's got no grip. You just can't really get them going. I agree with you. Usually you'd wait for the DRS to be disabled before you would actually make the switch. And he's done that. I suppose in his case he's got nothing to lose. He's a long way ahead of Big Roo 1325, although with 3 laps to go, unless the conditions change, Big Roo might find himself catching him.
Oh, and Berkay is managing to pull that 11-second gap. Look, he's at 10.8 now.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
And Tom Coronel's got a penalty. That's going to make it easier.
Yeah, and he's just pulled out that gap, and now Tom Coronel has now got a penalty for multiple warnings, although he's been fairly well behaved today. But Berkay, well, he won't know it yet, but that will be music to his ears, providing he doesn't make any further mistakes.
Yeah.
So for those of you still watching with us, thank you very much for sticking with us through the race, and thank you for tuning in. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to the Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4 channel. We've got plenty of action coming tomorrow. We have the VRL F1 race at Silverstone as well, so that will be very exciting. I'm pretty sure there'll be more than 8 finishers, or at least I hope there will be, in tomorrow's race. Do add into the comments section as Berkay goes slightly wide there. Do comment. We want you to vote for your driver of the day as well, providing of course that you don't joke and say Max Verstappen. That's a joke in there, and as most people do. And Lion Games has just got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and I'm not surprised because he's lost so much time on those inters. He's going to put on some dry tyres, and that's cost him 7th place really. That gamble has not paid off for him at all. So just with Magic Alonso now, who's in 4th place. Great recovery from him. Was leading this race until strangely disconnected from the servo.
And he's very close to Robert.
Just on board with him now as he's going through Cops Corner. It's right behind Robert Dornbos, so this is definitely a battle that could become, well, it's definitely going to be the fight for the podium.
Yeah, I mean, if they can push a little bit more and get up to 3 seconds from Tom. Neither of those two, Robert and Magic Alonso, have got penalties. So if they can get in a range of 3 seconds of Tom Coronel, they might just get a position out here.
It's just Magic Alonso. Is he going to try and go for the inside? No, he's going to tuck in and hold it on. So he's got 2 laps left to go now. Berkay is still 11 seconds ahead of Tom Coronel, but at the moment, Berkay has penalties for 11 seconds worth. Tom Coronel has 3 seconds, so he's okay there. Magic Alonso's right behind Robert Dornbos. He's going to be waiting to overtake into the DRS section, and he has got so much more grip than Robert Dornbos. We're just on board with him now. So he's going to try and open up the corner coming from club into the arena section. That's not a bad exit. And his DRS is open and he's got great traction now. He's going to be looking to overtake him. As Robert Dornbos makes it very tight on the inside, and Magic Alonso, that's a great overtake, but Robert Dornbos is going to try and get him, and they've touched again, and Magic Alonso just about keeps it on the road. They touched there, Robert Dornbos very aggressive, and he's almost lost it coming out of the corner, Magic Alonso, and he's managed to hold on to third place, but Robert Dornbos is going to come back at him, coming through into Cobb's corner. They touch again. Oh wow, I tell you what, Robert Dornbos will not be happy with that, because he moved over, and then Magic Alonso also moved over to cover him off at the last minute, but both of them managed to stay on the road, and Magic Alonso's up into third place. Great racing, but don't forget, Robert Dornbos is going to have DRS coming down the hangar straight, and here he comes in the Toro Rosso. It's Robert Dornbos who's going to try and lunge one up the inside. He's gone the outside. Magic Alonso covers the inside. Robert Dornbos is on the outside. They're hanging it. They're touching again. Magic Alonso, both of them going wide. He's going to try and get at him again. Robert Dornbos gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, but oh wow, Magic Alonso's gone too far, and he's cut the and they've touched again. Magic Alonso, they've touched again. I tell you what, very naughty for Magic Alonso as we head to the final lap. We're sticking with these two for the final lap of the race. Wow, and he's still going. He's gone down the inside again, Robert Dornbos. They've touched again, these two. Magic Alonso holds it to the inside. Well, this is incredible racing between these two. Definitely no bad blood lost here. As we're on board once again with Robert Dornbos, who's got DRS. Magic Alonso goes to the inside to hold it into the arena section. Robert Dornbos, and they've touched again. Magic Alonso's gone into Robert Dornbos again. And well, I'll tell you what, he's definitely pushing the limits in terms of what's legal and what's fair in Formula 1 racing. And Robert Dornbos, well, if I was him, I would not be too happy about the way Magic Alonso is defending, and I'm sure the stewards will be keeping an eye on this too on the final lap. Robert Dornbos is still with him though, both of them going into Cobb's corner. Full speeders are now going to be going into Maggots and Beckett's. Meanwhile, up in the front, Burkhardt is still leading this race. I'm going to join him in a bit. And Robert Dornbos has lost time coming through there, as we're just with Burkhardt coming into the club section now. Let's come down back straight. Magic Alonso's too far ahead, and Burkhardt comes out of the final corner, and Burkhardt, what a great drive from him. He wins. Well, say wins. It's 5-second time penalty for an unserved penalty. So Tom Coronel could win this race now. Got to keep an eye on him, because that's an extra penalty. And Tom Coronel, has he won? No, he hasn't. Well, he's still quite a way away. So yeah, apologies there. But Burkhardt has won the race. And Robert Dornbos is up into third. The penalties must... Magic Alonso, did he have a penalty?
What? I didn't quite see that.
No, I do apologise.
It's not appearing.
Yeah. No, Magic Alonso is down in fourth place. Robert Dornbos is up into third. So Magic Alonso must have had a problem towards the end as we just cut off. And again, I do apologise to you as we had to get a view of the race winner. But yes, but Robert Dornbos is moved up into third place, and I won't lie, Andrew, I'm not going to say that was undeserved for Robert Dornbos, considering how aggressive Magic Alonso was defending, probably too aggressive, and he drives into the back of him there after the race.
Yeah, that was some fun racing to watch, but I think, yeah, Magic Alonso definitely pushed a little bit too much on the limits, and yeah, well deserved podium for Robert. Really good comeback by him.
Incredible. I mean, both of those drivers came back very, very well from different reasons, and that was definitely the best coverage of this best incident of the race. But we're just back to our race winner, Burkhardt in the Ferrari. Started the race on the medium tyres, had his share of incidents, everyone else did. But as soon as he got into the lead, despite the penalties, he held onto it. So a fantastic drive from him. Also a fantastic drive as well from Tom Coronel in second place in the Alfa Romeo, and Robert Dornbos, third place finish. Excellent recovery drive from him, and he'll be very pleased with that. So for others as well who are just joining us now, So here's the final confirmation of the order. Now remember, this is the provisional order, so the stewards will review this. Burkay has won in the Ferrari, Tom Coronel second in the Alfa Romeo, Robert Dornbos third. We will have interviews with those top three drivers coming up, so do stay with us. Magic Alonso fourth, Pep in fifth, Big Rusick, and Ice-T, our championship leader, disconnected halfway through the race, finished only in 8th place, so he does not complete the hat-trick. As we are now going to get in interviews with some of our other drivers. So do bear with us, as we will be joining some of our other drivers who have finished in the top three. We will get interviews with them following this race momentarily, so do stick with us.
Yep, I'm here.
So sorry, who are we with? Sorry?
I'm trying to get the podium drivers in.
Have you sent them the invites, yeah? So I'm going to try and invite them all as well. Okay. That's cool. So so apologies for the delay, ladies and gentlemen. I've just seen the invites from my co-commentator Andrew, and I've just sent out the invitations to our top three finishers as well. So we have Burkay, our race winner, in the party with us. So Burkay, first of all, congratulations, and as a bit of a Ferrari fan myself, I must say it's an absolute delight that you won the race today for Ferrari. First win of the season. First of all, how do you feel after that race win? No, that's absolutely right, and no, it was a great performance. I'm really glad to see that you've shown a lot of good pace in the first few races, and it's culminated in a very well-deserved win. Just wanted to get your thoughts really on certain incidents in the race. So, I mean, you racked up quite a few penalties to the point that until the very end of the race, you were almost chasing an 11-second lead over Tom Coronel in the Alpha. Did you know if he? Did you have a feeling if you might have had any penalties or anything like that, or were you just trying to build up a big enough lead so that you didn't lose the race from your own penalties? Yeah, I mean, yeah. That's right, yes. Yeah, it was a bit strange, but yeah. Mm. Yeah, no, sorry for almost cutting in there. Yeah, it was a bit strange because as you crossed the line, it said under the screen that there was another 5-second penalty, but obviously I got that confused with the penalty you got for speeding in the pit lane. So after that win, you've managed to score quite a lot of points to close in on the championship leader. Now that you've won this race and shown good pace, good strategy, do you feel that perhaps this is exactly what you need going forward and that you can make a charge now to challenge the championship leader Ice-T Beats? Well, I'll certainly be hoping for the best of luck for you, my friend. The next race is in Germany, in Hockenheim, so hopefully be more of the same. I mean, as I said, I'm a Ferrari fan, so it's always great to see the red cars at the front of the field. So I'm wishing you all the best, my friend. Congratulations on the win. Thank you very much. So we're now moving on to our second place finisher, Tom Coronel. Tom, are you with us in the chat? Hello, is Tom not with us in the chat? No?
No, yeah, I think.
Okay, well, bear with us. Just going to see, and also we'll try and need to get Robert Dornbos in as well. So I'm going to try and get those guys in. I have sent them invitations, so do bear with us, viewers. As I said, do add some stuff in the comments. I want to see more of you adding in for Driver of the Day. So far, I've only had a few people commenting on Driver of the Day so far, so do put your votes in. In the meantime, Andrew, what do you make of that race? What was your analysis on that race? It was a crazy one for so many different reasons.
Yeah, that was that was a crazy race.
No, absolutely. I mean, it was a absolute crazy race. Hoping that we can get more of the same in Germany. Hopefully we can get more finishes in the German race. We only had 8 finishes today and a lot of incidents. It's a shame we only had 14 runners from the start. Also trying to get our second and third place finishers into the trying to get our second and third place finishers into the post-podium interview, really. So still trying to invite them. Sent another invitation to Robert Dornbos. Also going to look for Tom Coronel as well. So, have you had any luck trying to get them into the chat? So I think in the meantime, I will Andrew, if you could try and get Lion Games NL into the chat party, please.
Sure.
So apologies, viewers, we're just having a bit of a difficulty getting some of our listeners into the chat. So just bear with us a bit more. Yeah, so they're still there, Andrew. If you could try and get Robert Dornbos in as well. I know I've sent an invitation to Lion Games NL_YT, who finished in 7th place. Well, was it 7th place? Yes, 7th place today. So, good evening, Lion Games. How are you this evening?
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Very well, very well.
So, yeah, no, so 7th place it was in the Toro Rosso. Interesting race,
Yeah.
considering that you started at the very back after
hmm
incident. So, just a few questions. So, what the incident earlier in the race between you and your teammate, was it not? What happened there?
Well, he's trying to overtake me around the outside, and I think it was cops, but yeah, it was cops, and he tried to overtake me around. So it was very clean, and then Codemasters glitch servers struck again. The aliens struck again, and we hit each other. He just glitched. I couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. I was, yeah. So I'm not mad at him. So hope he
Okay.
thinks the same.
No, no. Well, I mean, I'm sure he's pretty happy. He finished on the podium, so it's good points for
Yeah.
Toro Rosso nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
So also another incident later on in the race, because you were the first to mention to me that your engineer was telling you that the track it was going to start raining.
Yeah.
I noticed that you put on the intermediate tyres
Yeah.
towards the end. What was the rationale behind that? Was it really raining, or was it just a gamble that didn't really pay off for you?
I think it was just a gamble. I was 7th place. I had nothing to lose. Because Big Roo, he also disconnected.
Yep.
But yeah, but I had nothing to lose. And it was really dropping down. And I thought, let me use my career mode strategies, and so I pitted for Inters, and it didn't really pay off. I spun at Macus and Beckett's 2 laps in, and I thought, yeah, well.
Well, I mean, sometimes
So
they
I
work
went
for
on
you.
sauce.
Yeah. Sometimes they
Yeah.
work for you, sometimes they don't. This occasion, not so much. But having said that, a 7th place finish, still some solid points on the board for you and for your team, so that's good. Looking into the German Grand Prix, are you going to be looking to build on that a bit more? Perhaps try and improve on the qualifying performance, maybe to help you get up the order. I mean, of course, it's always important to finish and finish well in the points. What will you be looking to try and do to move further up the field and perhaps challenge for a podium in the next race?
Well, I think I don't need changing in my driving style, because I think I'm pretty fast, but these guys here are so talented, so fast. Can't keep up with my little controller. But it's also this was Silverstone. It's one of my least favorite tracks, and Germany is my favorite track. So I think I'm gonna wrap up some points in there. I hope I get a podium, and I gotta say it went very better than Austria. Let's say that.
Yeah, I remember. A bit of hard luck is there as well. But no, that's good to hear. I like to hear that. So I'll definitely be looking out for you in the German Grand Prix coming up next week.
Yeah.
All the best,
And
my friend.
I have a little announcement.
Yes.
I'm gonna talk with Felix and Tim Cornell in the Red Bull, because I was actually filling in his place at Toro Rosso, but he can race again. So I think we're gonna switch so that they both are in this. That they're both in the same team. I'm going to Red Bull, but that's a thing we need to discuss with Felix. But I think that might happen because it's easier and they're friends. So yeah.
No, well, that's fine. I mean, viewers, do keep an eye out on the VRL News page. That's VRL News on Instagram. They'll be able to brief you up to date with the latest information from your favourite drivers in both the VRL F1 and F2 categories, and any driver changes that we will hear of, we will hear from them first. So thank you very much for the exclusive Lion Games, and wish you all the best for the next Grand Prix.
I hope.
You're welcome. Thanks very much for coming on. Great. So now, hopefully, we can see if we can get an interview with Mr. Robert Dornbos, if he's available. He's still in the party, so hopefully he's in the chat. So bear with us. Hopefully we can get a word with him before this broadcast is out. In the meantime, guys, as I said before, please like, share and subscribe. We could really do with your support, and we massively appreciate it. We want to get one of these videos to 300 this season, and we also want to see if we can get to 200 subscribers, and the only way we can do that is through your support. For those of you who have already liked and subscribed with us, cannot thank you enough for your support. We hope that we can keep providing the best coverage of your favourite esports online racing leagues. So we're sitting here now just waiting for Robert Dornbos. He's not in the lobby at the moment. I have sent him another invite, so hopefully we can get hold of him. But the next race...
Okay, just sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, I've got to go. So
Absolutely.
I'll try to watch the interviews from the live stream. But yeah, that was an amazing race. Thanks everyone for watching. I can't wait for Germany.
Thank you very much for joining us, Andrew. Appreciate your coverage with us, and best of luck for the race tomorrow, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so just at the moment, it's just me in the party at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'm going to try and see if we can get hold of Robert Dornbos one more time. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't seem that we are able to get hold of our third place finisher, Robert Dornbos. Now, I'd love to have gotten his insight on the incident at the end of the race with Magic Alonso, and it was a great recovery drive from him to come up into third place. Hopefully I will try to get his thoughts in the week, and we will be able to post his thoughts on those incidents and his thoughts on the race on the VRL news page and the Vision Racing League news page. So once again, thank you very much for joining us on this coverage. I've been your commentator, Adam Burns. Please share, like and subscribe with your mum, dad, brother, sister, work colleague, friend, dog, cat, nan, even your pigeon if you've got one. I'm sure you're waiting for me to mention that. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. We have a great lineup for the VRL F1 race tomorrow at Silverstone, so please tune into that, and you can watch that on the same channel, Hot Lap Mode VRL PS4. Have a good evening everyone, take it easy and all the best.